brilliant. Like I said, I almost don't care what happens at sunset. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again. It's 25 past 6. Sunset tonight is 21 minutes past 9, although as with so many locations here, there are mountains all around, so we are definitely going to lose the light before official sunset. So we've probably got 2.5 hours of the chance to get some decent light. I've come out today to a lake or a reservoir with the hopes of getting a shot sometime around sunset. Am I going to be lucky? I don't know. The clouds are building up over that way to the northwest, which is pretty much where the sun's supposed to be setting. Now if those clouds stay nice and high and leave a nice gap lower down, we could get a really nice sunset. On the other hand, if they are lower down and don't let the sun through, we might get no light whatsoever. The other challenge that we've got is that it's a lot windier than the weather forecast said it was going to be. It said it was going to be a little bit breezy kind of now, and then dropping down to almost no wind at all by about 8:30, 8:45. But given that it's a lot windier now than forecast, I'm not entirely convinced that's going to happen. Now, because of that, the chances of us getting nice reflections are also fairly slim. So I need to think about a composition that doesn't rely on reflections, and one that will work with nice light or maybe with just some dramatic clouds. I've done some exploring off down some trails off to the side, trying to find my way up to higher vantage points, and also trying to find my way down to the water a bit further round. Some of the trails are almost non-existent, and some of them are blocked off by fallen trees. There's a couple of fallen trees in the water that at first glance I thought might make an interesting composition, but there's just too much clutter around them for that to work. There's some fish actually all swimming around one of them, kind of looks like they're feeding around it. Maybe it's insects are clustering there or something, I don't know. So my thoughts at the moment are I'm going to explore a little more on the lower section here, see if there's a possibility of a shot somewhere along this part of the lake. Can't actually get right close to the water anywhere, it's all kind of elevated. The other possibility is to try and climb up the hills kind of up behind me here and see if there's a vantage point up there, but at the minute I'm struggling to find any trails that get up there. We'll have to see. Still, say 2.5 hours, so I think I've got 2 hours of exploring time and then half an hour of being set up and ready for a shot. Let's see what we can find. Okay, so I've done about half an hour's exploring along the kind of shoreline of the lake, or at least as close as I can get to the shoreline. I'm not really finding anything that's grabbing me. There's a distinct lack of foreground interest. So I'm just now going to try to find my way up into the hills a bit, overlooking the scene. If I can find an area that's not covered in trees, I might find a composition up there. At the moment the sun's gone behind the clouds, but what's going to happen later I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, wow, that was unexpected and fantastic. Clambering up the hill there, trying to find a composition for sunset, and I heard the clattering of a helicopter, and I know that this reservoir is a water source for the firefighting helicopters, and I also know that they sometimes do training here, so they sometimes do pickups and then dump water in the hills to do practice runs. So I stopped, dumped my rucksack, threw on the 70 to 200 lens, and basically started shooting like a madman. So hopefully I've got some video and some stills of that. Wow, this is certainly an unexpected bonus. I knew that this area was used for this, but didn't expect to actually see it happening from this vantage point. But as a result of that, I got so carried away, I've kind of lost track of what I'm doing at sunset. And I haven't got a lot of time left now. So I've given up on the higher location because I just can't find a composition that's not blocked in by trees. And I'm racing back down now to try to get back down to the lower parts, just to see if I can find something to shoot. Wow, can't believe they came back round again. Another 2 runs, but just basically picking up and dumping the water in the reservoir. Absolutely fantastic. I got some shots of them higher up, and then I managed to get some shots of them down here. So brilliant. like I said, I almost don't care what happens at sunset, although it does look like it might be quite nice. So I think now I'm going to try and find a composition, probably just somewhere here, nice and simple and easy. I don't know, anything I can find really at the minute. With all of the excitement, it almost doesn't matter. Okay, I've been running around like a madman for the last 15 minutes trying to find a composition that will work, and I've finally settled on one. The sun's just about to drop behind the mountain over there. I've got a tuft of grass here in the foreground. There's some leaves, a bit of an old tree with some foliage on sticking out of the water here. Then the kind of rock face goes around and the sun's setting over there, and the sky looks quite nice. I'm shooting at f/16, but I'm really close to this grass in the foreground. 16mm lens, 16 to 35 lens, 16mm. So I'm going to focus stack this to try and make sure I get everything sharp. So I'm going to do one shot focused on the grass, one shot focused on the foliage down there, and then probably one shot just focused right up in the background. And I'm just waiting for the sun to drop a little bit more to see if we get a sun star. Okay, so the sun's gone down now behind the mountains. I've kept the composition the same. I've fitted a 6-stop ND filter, a little stopper, just to smooth out the reflections in the water. At f/16, that's giving me 8 seconds. And I'm going to focus stack that, so I'm going to do 4 8-second shots. One focused right on the foreground, one part way in, one a bit further in, and one on the background. And we'll see how that one works out. We've still got about 15 minutes until official sunset, so there's still a possibility that that sky could light up with colour in the next 20 to 45 minutes, I guess. So I've taken the opportunity to change my composition. I'm going for a horizontal format. I'm taking out all of the close foreground stuff because none of it's really working for me. We've kind of got a rocky bit jutting out here with some trees on it, and then there's a little bit of reflection there which I might be able to pick out more with an ND filter. And then basically it's just the reservoir kind of swooping back, and hopefully we'll get a nice sky. So I'm going to put the filters on and basically just have everything set up. I might take a shot and see what it looks like. I won't be needing to focus stack this because I've got nothing really close to the lens like I had on the last ones. I'm still shooting with a 6-stop ND filter, and I've got a 3-stop hard-edged ND grad in. Now, even with the grad filter in, the sky, particularly the bottom of the sky, is just blowing out unless I underexpose the image massively, and then I'm getting really deep shadows in all the rock walls, which I don't really want. So what I'm going to do, I've just done a metering exercise and looked at what the range looks like. I'm shooting at f11. I'm going to do one shot at 8 seconds, which will give me a nicely exposed sky. And I'll do another one at 15 seconds, and that will pick out the highlights in the water nicely and some of the other sort of mid-tones in the sky. One at 30 seconds, and that will bring out pretty much all of the mid-tones nicely. And then one at 60 seconds, which should put a little bit of detail back in some of those shadows. I may not need them all. I'll have to see when I get it back on the computer. The dynamic range on this camera is really good, and it's amazing what you can recover from shadows. But nevertheless, I'm playing it safe and shooting all 4 of those. So let's see how that comes out. Okay, so the light's dropped quite a bit now. I've taken the ND filter out. I've gone to f16, from f11 to f16, that's a stop difference. I've gone from ISO 64 to ISO 31, that's another stop. Still got the 3-stop hard-edged ND grad in, although I'm not sure that I'm going to need it much longer. And at the moment I'm shooting 2.5, 5, 10 and 20-second exposures. And we'll just have to see what they come out like. I don't know if it's coming out on the video, but right over there in the far distance, about the farthest point you can see, where the hill dips down, there's actually quite a fiery red colour behind it there. And it's sort of pinkish across the scene. And I'm kind of hoping that's going to flare up. I'm hoping we're going to get a blast of light. I'm going to give it about another 15 minutes and see what happens. Okay, official sunset was 19 minutes past 9 and it's now 20 to 10. That hint of fiery red that started to appear is gone, so I don't think we're going to get anything in terms of fantastic colour here tonight. So there was a little bit there, so we might have got a nice image. I'm hoping I might have got 1 or 2 nice images from the sunset shoot. And I'm hoping I've got some stuff of that fantastic experience with watching the helicopter come down and fill up with water and then go and dump it off somewhere. So even if the sunset shoot's rubbish, I'm happy. I've had a great time. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. I think it's time for me to try and find my way back to the car before it gets too dark. I might be able to make it without getting the head torch out. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have and you want to see more, remember to hit the subscribe button, unless of course you're already a subscriber, in which case, thank you, I do appreciate it. Like, shares and comments, I love them. And I'll just say thanks very much for watching, and until the next video, bye.